This is the People's Television, AMBAZONIA Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless. Bringing the state of the struggle on your fingertips. Unmasking the genocide in Ambazonia. Reporting first-hand untold stories from Africa. Donate to ABC Amba TV every day. We the people must control the narrative. Internationalize the struggle, keep ground zero abreast and win the war. Cash App 240-486-8768. Hashtag $AMBABC. Zelle, donations at ambazoniafoundation.org. PayPal, support@abcambath.com. Thank you.
Fellow Ambazonians, dear countrymen, despite the hike in targeted summary execution of our innocent people by Paul Biya's killer squads, I still believe we are now at the twilight of our political daybreak, emptying the combined worth and wealth of a lifetime fortune into the country of our collective dream.
A place we can surely call home.
At last, my people, the wind of total liberation is sweeping through Ambazonia, our priceless inheritance.
The land of our forebears.
A place we can surely call home.
A few years ago, a vicious dictator declared war on our sovereign nation of Ambazonia. It is a war we did not seek nor provoke, but are determined to muster every strength we can harness and continue sending the message to our enemy that we have risen before them.
We have paid dues for everything. We pay tax for goods we buy. We pay fuel in our cars. We pay hospital bills and the dues for all other sacrifices.
I can give all I have for the one hope that I have.
Because I paid my CID. I'm actually proudly Amazonian. What about you?
Let's get it straight. The freedom of Ambazonia will not depend on the free will of our enemies.
Independence will be but days away if we get it right with our CID.
My dear comrades, I am appealing to every Ambazonian to register with the CID program.
We have no control over our distorted history, but with our CID, we can set the pace and determine the future of Ambazonia.
Yes, the hope for the future is in our hands. As an Ambazonian, my identity is conclusive. My right is guaranteed. My vote will always count as I pay my CID.
As an Ambazonian, I will shape the future with my CID.
With your CID of just $10 per month, the interim government is contract to fulfill all that you wish to be done.
Let us build a freedom mansion from the little blood, which is our CID levy.
There will be food for everyone, hope for every child, justice for every citizen when we pay our CID levy.
Yes, the dream we can realize. With my compulsory independence dues, CID, I have the opportunity to give to the next generation a greater nation, better than we inherited.
Yes, CID program is freedom made easy, freedom made cheap, freedom for Ambazonia now.
It not be like it be before. Hey, everything done change. God of mercy, show us your face. Hey, before them wipe us away. Our streets are filled with blood. Oh. Them no let our children to study. Our people are in the bush. Them burn our homes. They make our blood to flow like water. Many are already gone. Many are yet to go. Everywhere now gunshot. Yeah. God of mercy, pity for your people. Make everybody pay for the crime them commit. For the crime them commit. Only you can do.
Purchase your tracks
what
today.
No man can do. We need your power. We need your power. Let your justice prevail. 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 It's them roll on this one, my friend. Yeah.
That's cool on the
all
beat.
the people wait for our blood. Let them pay with the blood of the children. Touch my anointed and do my prophets no harm. We are the children of your promise. Who can say a thing and it comes to pass? Where you not talk, oh, where you not talk, oh. No matter who them be, that your power crush. Lord, we need your power. We need your power. The blood of our children are crying in the grave. We need your power. We need your power. Let your justice prevail. 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 To men can them a guy where you dey. Shako shako wa mama where you dey. To the low person where you dey. You like my guy. I'm a guy where you dey.
Don't you hate it when that happens to you? When it does, you need this and this and this. When it happens to me, I always know where to go. When you've got professionals on your side, your problems don't stand a chance. What are you waiting for? Contact them today and let them take care of your problems.
It started like a joke and I smiled. From Meme to Momo, we said no violence. Now I know not how to smile, 'cause my loved ones are gone. There is no place to call home. Our homes have been burnt. I am homeless in my homeland. There is no place to call my home. Homeless, homeless, homeless in my homeland. When are we going to have a dialogue? We have buried more than enough. Nothing heals the past like time. The difference between people is opportunity. You are not there cause you are great. You are there by His grace. Do not treat others like second class people. If you close your eyes to facts, you learn through mistakes. When are we going to have a dialogue? We have buried more than enough. Nothing heals the past like time. When are we going to have a dialogue? We've been marginalized enough. You may fool some people sometime. You cannot fool them all the time. Homeless, homeless, homeless in my homeland. Homeless, homeless, I am homeless in my homeland. Homeless, homeless, I am homeless in my homeland. Why am I homeless? Homeless, homeless, I am homeless in my homeland. Homeless in my homeland.
Welcome, and happy new year to all our televiewers from all over the world, watching us by way of satellite, Facebook, YouTube, on ABC Amber Television. My name is Commando. I am the host today of this brand new program by the Ethics Commission of the Interim Government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia under the leadership of President Dr. Sako Samuel. The topic of our program is Ethics for an Emerging Nation. And this will be your program every Friday, 10 p.m. Amber time. Now, special salutations to all Ambazonians scattered all over the world, especially those on ground zero, the ones in ground one, and the diaspora. And we give special 21 gun salute to our ARF who are there bearing the brunt for us. We are here because you are there fighting for us. We are like the hairs and the Aarons holding up the hands of Moses. This program is an hour long, and we are very sorry we are starting it a little bit late, but next week, Friday, by this time, we shall endeavor to start it right on time. And this program is mainly for educational purposes as we prepare for our nation. We want to get into a nation that is healthy and worthy of a nation that depends largely on wealth of its value. So we shall be here in this program today. I am joined by three members of the ethics community in the person of Dr. Thomas Ndula, the Vice Chair of the Ethics Commission. And then we are also joined by Barrister Mbesa, of Ethics Commissioner and Judiciary Council. I'm also joined by Dr. John Titanta of Ngokutinja County Ethics Committee that is represented here. Gentlemen of the Ethics Commission, I say welcome to all of you in the panel. And before we go, I will briefly give you a minute or two to just introduce yourself, and then we keep the ball kicking and going. Welcome. I get over to you first, Barrister Mbesi. You go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. My name is
Microphone
Mbese.
is off. I can't hear you. Your microphone is off. I can't hear you.
I don't know why.
All right. While he's trying to put on his microphone, the Deputy Chairman for Ethics Commission, Dr. Ndula, please, can you just say a word of good morning and good afternoon, good evening to the people of Ambazonia? Over to you.
Thank you, Pastor. Good evening, fellow Ambazonians. Good evening, fellow panelists. My name is Tom Ndula. I'm the Vice Chair of the Ethics Commission of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Come from Gogotunja County, from Babisi, LGA.
Thank you very much.
Live
You're
and work in
welcome.
Germany. So
Good.
I'm glad to present the Ethics Commission to you people today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, over to you, Barrister.
Can you get me now?
I will get you.
Yes,
Good.
we hear you, Barrister.
5 on 5.
Okay. Where am I getting lost? Are you getting me?
5 on 5. We are getting you.
Yes. I'm Barrister. I have the privilege to have a member of the ethics from inception, day one. I'm also the chair of the Judicial Council. I come from the BLM and both Boya. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister Timothy. We'll cross over to Dr. John Titanta to say a word of greetings to us before we proceed. Dr. John, we can't see you. We are seeing the wall of your house. If you can pull your camera down a little bit to you, that will be fine. We can't see your face, Dr. John. Are you there? Dr. John, are you there? Well, Dr. Tom and
Dr.
Dula,
John
we cannot
Titanda should
hear.
put his camera in the sideways, in the landscape mode, sideways, his phone.
But he's not even talking. Can he hear us? Dr. John, can you hear us? All right. While Dr. John is getting ready, we will just go on because our time is fast spent. If there was another program coming in after us, it means that we will have just about 35 minutes. But then we are going to make sure that we exhaust our 1 hour. And next time, if we come late as ethics, I'm sure you are not the ones who came in late. Our technicians did not put us on all right. So it appears John has a problem. They are trying to fix it, and we will go ahead. Now, the subject matter of today, we will start with the structure of the Ethics Commission in the interim government. And how will you describe to the Ambazonian people how will you describe to the Ambazonian people the structure post-independence? Well, let me come again. How will you describe to the Ambazonian people the ethics commission of the Ambazonia, of the government of Ambazonia? Yeah, Dr. Tom, I go with you first. Are you there? Let me take back the question again. The question is, how will you describe it to the Ambazonian people? 3-tier LGA and county work in progress that is going on. That is, the structure post-independence will be different, brought more elaborate, because there will be collaboration with more agencies, not just the judiciary. Now, good ethics laws without implementing the implementation is useless. So how will you now describe this ethics commission to the Ambazonian people, and what is its purpose? So I go with you, Dr. Tom. Can you tell us a brief of what the ethics commission is all about? We cannot hear you. Your microphone has a problem. And there is noise coming from somebody's background. Please, if you have your set near you, take it away. Your microphones are very sensitive. So you have anything talking around you, just put it off. Thank you, Barrister Timothy. Yes, Dr. Tom, did you get my question?
Yeah, hello. As Commander.
Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
had connection problems. You please go over it again.
Yeah, we're just saying, can you give us a brief explanation of the purpose of the Ethics Commission in the interim government? What actually is Ethics Commission in the interim government?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that question. Well, the Ethics Commission is one of the main institutions created at the inception of our nation in Zaria, created alongside the interim, the cabinet, the Judicial Council, the Restoration Council, and the Ethics Commission was created also. While there are three arms of government, the executive headed by the president, the judiciary, and the Restoration Council to put checks and balances on each other, there is the Ethics Commission, whose job is to to see to it that there is transparency and accountability in the workings of the leadership of our God-ordained revolution of the interim government at the federal level, at the county level, and at the LGA level. And these are done within the framework of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of AMBAZONIA. So we see to it that minimal ethical values are respected, especially by the elected officials in all tiers of government, that dealings, people should not just do things on their own whims and caprices, but following the norms laid down by our constitutions, by our guidelines, by the presidential executive orders. So in this, we draw help from the Judicial Council, so that everything we do should be within the provisions of the law. So generally, those are the things I can say about the workings of the Ethics Commission. And so we hold our elected officials first of all, and then the main populace of Ambazonia to high moral standards.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tom. Let's pause a moment here and welcome Dr. John Titanta. Dr. John, you are welcome.
Good evening, fellow comrades. You hear me?
We hear you.
Yes. You hear me?
5 on 5.
All right.
5 on 5.
I'm sorry for the technical hitches that I had at the beginning, because that was my first time of coming on a live show. But I'm very glad. I'm very privileged to be counted amongst what I may call the pioneers of this ethical program that is being put forward on our national TV. Really, I'm pleased. So I come from Ngokotunja, and I'm also a member of the Restoration Council, and I live in Belgium. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tom, Dr. John, for that elaborate introduction. That's what we need to know. You know, there are many people out there that hide their identity and they make a lot of noise. And we want those who are fighting for this revolution to come right out. I'll be coming to you very shortly, but let me go over to Barrister Bessie. You were pronouncing your name, Barrister Timothy, if you wouldn't mind, for fear of not biting my tongue and, miscalling your name. May I just go with Barrister Timothy because it's easy to call?
Well, if you want to go that far, otherwise just call Tim. That's fine enough.
Okay, Barrister Tim, that's correct. I like that. Okay, Barrister Tim, after that elaborate description of what the Ethics Commission is all about, I want to ask you very specifically, what will you say is the mission of the Ethics Commission in our present structure as we are building our government to go down to Boya? Because listen, just put that question in mind, because a lot of people are saying that, oh, Amber TV is talking about other things, and not talking about the war, and not talking about AFCON and so on. We agree. All these things are important, but I believe that it's also very important for us to start educational programs on ABC so that when we get back home, it will not be a start from the scratch. So I now come back. What will you say is the mission of the Ethics Commission? I want to make that direction. Thank you. Over to you.
Well, thank you, sir. It's good for the common person to understand what the ethics is all about.
Right.
We call it an emerging nation. Call it a family. Right. Every family has some rules. That per se, you don't say like that to your mother. You don't say that to your senior sister or to your junior brother. So this is morality. It's not some law brought from heaven. So in essence, ethics, as someone has already told you, is a moral compass of the revolution. Many countries have it. Some countries don't even know about it. But we intend to have it here with AMBAZONIA. And this is where it starts. If we realize that the IG, as we call it today, was established on the 31st of October 2017 by the resolution of the conclave, the Zaire conclave. That conclave, the resolutions established only 3 institutions. They established the Restoration Council, Article 15. They established the IG, Article 13 and 14. And they established the Ethics Commission. Be reminded again that as of 31st October 2017, the AMBAZONIA that we were trying to create did not even have a constitution. But the founding fathers deemed it necessary to put this institution called the ethics, the moralizer, as at the time. What does it mean? It is because as of now that I'm speaking, even from October, we don't have a court where we can catch somebody and go and jail him if it eats money or who insults another person. No. But we try to moralize our actors, our principal actors, our citizens, that there are some basic rules that follow. So the ethics is absolutely important. As contemplated in the resolution of the Zaire Conference article as resolved above. Later on, down the road, 6 months down the road, we had an interim constitution, which consecrated Articles 16 and 17 to the ethics. What should they be doing to moralize this thing? I'm sure most of us, if we understood the role of the ethics, we would not be where we are today. There are so many things that we do wrong without even understanding that we wrong another person. No. We can communicate without being rude.
Mm-hmm.
We can disagree without being disagreeable.
Mm-hmm.
So the role of ethics in this revolution is that we try to moralize the actors from the highest to the lowest. The president is not above the ethics. The chairman of the Restoration Council is not above. Neither are their members. They can be moralized. They can be directed if they are going wrong. And I can assure you, having been in this thing from the beginning, we have done that many times. were people who have had cases brought to us as ethics by individuals against institutions and by institutions against individuals. What does this mean? Somebody say, well, I'm in this group, they have done this to me, they have done this to me. Or AB has insulted me, done this to me. And we have tried to resolve those things, advise them to stop doing all that, try to guide them. But apart from that, we've had the opportunity as ethics to see where we are, see things going wrong, and we say, look, brother, sister, that's not how you do it. We call the individuals to order. Absolutely, there's no penalty for now. We make recommendations, they are enforced. And we've gone further. If we contemplate ethics as of October 31st, 2017, that it was created. It was meant to be a 7-man commission. Very big thing. One big government sitting up there in Boya, wherever we are. But it has been progressive. We've realized that it's not easy for somebody, for example, sitting in Akwaya County or Akwaya AGA or somewhere in Gambe, AGA, who has been wronged by a colleague, a friend, a sister, a brother, to carry his case file to Boya to come and meet with us. So we say, look, let the AGAs who are struggling, at least the counties, let them be able to have an ethics commission that will deal with those things right there. If somebody has stolen the money that we donated to go and buy some arms and run away, if it is in Kambe, if it is in Manfe, if it is in Boya, it's easier for those guys to say, look, bring this money, or take your farm tools. Just like you take money from Njange house. These people don't have a lot of money, they pledge their farms, they pledge this, they pledge their house. If you don't pay that money, Njange money, it's morally wrong for you to take the community money and run away. What would they do? They come and take your house if you pledge your house to support that loan. You will not need to go to Boya or to Bamenda or to Bamfe or to wherever to sue you. They will just do it. You have nowhere to escape. So that's the role of ethics. But as a nation, it does more than that. Because we are trying to emerge as a specific type of nation around the world. A nation that is not ruled only by laws. It is also ruled by some ethics, some good manners. Let's just put it like this. Good manners is absolutely important. And maybe if we realize where we go wrong all the time, even around the world, some wars are caused by bad manners. Ours are not going to be different. If you see what's going on now between counties, between IG, between Restoration Council and all what not we can call it, this is just bad manners because they don't know how to handle our bad manners. Bad manners are not specific with us. They are all over human beings. All human beings have bad attitude. But you need a senior brother, you need a senior sister, you need a junior guy who understands to say, look, brother, papa, that's not how you treat your wife. Sister, that's not how you treat your husband. Brother, that's not how you treat your junior brother if he goes wrong. You don't just beat him and throw him into the ocean. So that is, in essence, what it is. Again, I invite all of us, go read the Constitution. Now we have a Constitution. Read Articles 16 and 17. It details exactly what this thing is supposed to be, what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to bring cases there, and so on and so forth. I will develop more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Barrister Tim, in short, for that explicit and elaborate definition and description of the mission of the Ethics Commission. But before we get down to asking many other things and talking on this particular subject matter, I will crave your indulgence to be brief and straight so that we can cover all with time. I don't know how much time we still have because we came in late, as I will still say, but then we'll make sure that we exhaust what we have for today. Before we go ahead, before we talk more on the goals that will help us achieve our mission, I would like to call on Dr. Titanta to take Ambazonians down the memory lane that the guiding principle that shaped Southern Cameroon's society before La Republique's invasion, invasion to take us and the need for Ambazonians to revive those values and much more that will take us into a new Ambazonia. I would like to say that in the book I'm reading called the Bible, when they were building the new temple, they say this new temple will be better than the old temple. So we would like Dr. Titanta to take us that memory lane of where we were and to where we are going. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you very much, comrade. You quoted a scripture that I had in mind, which clearly said
wow.
the glory of this latter house shall far
Yes.
outweigh the glory of the former house. And I think,
wow. That's
I think that is a good quotation, because we are not actually working in a vacuum. And I want to first of all thank Dr. Ndula for that elaborate explanation she gave, and Barrister for being going down to the earth to explain to what ethics is all about. One of the founding fathers of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, which we all revere on the continent as one of the heroes, once stated that Africa needs a new type of citizen, a citizen that is modest, a citizen that is humble, a citizen whose strength lies in his humility. And all of these are the characteristics of an ethical citizen. And we have been privileged, even at the stage of our revolution, that our founding fathers of this revolution, they were visionary enough to put the name of God in our constitution. In page 18 of our constitution, I think paragraph 4, they explicitly quoted that we must depend on God. It is very important for this. It is very important because a nation that does not have any principle that holds it together is bound to fail. As I said at the beginning, we are not actually working in a vacuum. We can remember what the glory of former West Cameroon was before the catastrophe, before the catastrophe that befell us. We were a very functioning nation, very ethical nation. We had many things that were going very well. Even though I was not born during that time, but I could still see the remnants of the good things that were being practiced. People were being very, very respectful. Children were behaving very well. We had communities, people were community sensitive. People were very devoted to their community. I remember in the 70s, early 70s, I used to see sanitary officers come into the villages, walk into the villages to inspect, to check about cleanliness. I used to go to the market and see sanitary officers coming to control food quality. I used to see all these things. And these things, I used to realize that bribery and corruption was very scarce in our society. It is very important to note that our founding fathers put the name of God. That means that we must abide by the principles of God if we want our nation to be a strong nation. And everybody says that this revolution is God ordained. It's not only a revolution that is God ordained. I think that this nation is a God ordained nation. And we are going to be a great nation if we hold tight and begin to educate our people on ethical values, educate our people about the vices of corruption, the vices of nepotism, the vices of things that are not right in society. So we are heading, we must, and I'm very happy to be part of this panel which participate in the education of our people. I remember when even at this time if you cross from East Mungo and cross into West Mungo, you can clearly see a difference between the structure of the city, the structure of the way people are behaving. That means we still have a remnant of what we had in those days. So it is very important. So if we want to be a nation where all sons and daughters will be equal before the law, where all sons and daughters will have equal opportunity, we must build a nation that is made of citizens that are very ethical. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Titanta. I think that I don't know. I was born before the independence of La République du Cameroon, and I was born before the independence of Ambazonia. And I can get a glimpse of what you are talking about because I was there before the invasion. I was still a little baby though, but then I saw the glories of Ambazonia, West Cameroon at that time. And today, I'm expecting that with seasoned men and women like we have now in our revolution, with the Ethics Commission playing their acute part in this journey we are going back home, I'm very convinced and optimistic that we shall have a better Ambazonia inclusive to what was in before. Now, let me jump over to you, Dr. Ndula. I would like you, Dr. Ndula, to tell the Ambazonian community and engaging the public, the means of ethics as concerned. That is, briefly tell Ambazonians what continuity and engaging the public means as far as ethics is concerned. Did you get my
Thank
question?
you, Pastor Commander.
Yeah.
Yes, I got you very well. Yes, before I answer your question, Pastor Commander, I would want to remind all of us, all Ambazonians, La République, our leveling nation, got its independence on 1st of January 1960. And we got ours, had to have ours on 1st October 1961. We are two different nations. So La République, now, after the restoration of our independence, has no right and no jurisdiction, no business, whatever, conducting any games in our land, in Victoria, in Boya, or anywhere else in Ambazonia. So all Ambazonians are called upon to boycott such games and to do all they can so that such games should not take place and not even watch it on over TV. So coming to your questions, we in diaspora can tweet and retweet all the genocidal images of La République on our people and to make the world know that we do not welcome people who come to enjoy themselves and do sports on our territory while our people are dying. So the Ethics Commission is there to help the smooth functioning of the government through the upholding of high ethical values and so that the leadership, first of all, there should be continuity in leadership. What does that mean? We have a nation made up of institutions, and these institutions are strong and are being strengthened. We want a nation that is made up of strong institutions, not of strong men and women. And those institutions should be built to last. And no matter who comes to head those institutions or to run them, should do so knowing what he or she, what is expected of him or her. And those are key elements of the code of ethics, which are there. I will quote some of them. I'll read those elements quickly. Personal responsibility first. You are responsible for what you say, do, and on behalf of your people. Second, compliance with the law. There is an interim constitution. We are all obliged to read it and know our civic responsibilities, our rights, and our duties towards Ambazonia. Third, relations with the public. As elected officials, you are to relate with the public in an impartial manner, not taking sides, not insulting people, having high ethical, good behavioral patterns. Fourth, limitations on the acceptance of gifts, rewards, hospitality, and discounts. Well, that explains itself. No acceptance of gifts certain above a certain amount to do your job. Well, such amounts has not yet been defined, but to be on the safe side, accept no gifts while in office from anybody coming to seek for some services or to have contract with the government and so on. No gifts whatsoever, and you are on the safe side. 5, avoid conflicts of interest. If I'm working for the interim government on the behalf of 8 million Ambazonian after being appointed by the president, or in my LGA or in my county, I have no business doing some other thing which goes in contradiction of this interim government with the total independence that we all want to achieve. 6, limitations on political activities. When somebody is out of office, you are not allowed, not permitted to use the information, the knowledge, and all that you have accrued from the revolution to profit yourself on behalf to the detriment of the revolution. 7, conduct in monetary matters. Of course, transparency and accountability should be utmost. 8, confidentiality and use of official information. Unless you are clear to do so, unless something is declassified by the president and by the government, we are all bound to keep silent on confidential matters. 9, use of official property and services. No government official is allowed to buy or to purchase or to have to use public property privately unless having been cleared to do so. But to be on the safe side, don't just do it at all. Then you are on the safe side. 10, private purchase of government property by employees. I've talked about that. 11, work environment. We in the interim government, especially in the cabinet, have all been appointed by the president to help him accomplish the mission of total independence in the shortest possible time going to Boya. We have the responsibility, each of us, to see to it that we have a good working environment in our departments. That is a must. It is not an option because we don't know each other. We may not like each other, but according to our constitutions, we are bound to work together for the betterment of 8 million Amazonians. So personal problems, well, they can arise. They should be brought to the Ethics Commission, to the Intergovernmental Organization Committee, and other institutions to be solved, to be resolved, not put out there on social media and discrediting the whole of Amazonia with it. So, with these rules are expected to be followed by all 8 million Ambazonians. So first, for the continuity, we see to it that ethical values are followed and the institutions are strong and follow all these values, follow about the constitution. If not, individuals also should abide to it. If not, they will be called out by us. Or when cases are brought to us, then we hear it being backed by the constitution and those ethical values. And for engaging the public, all those key values I've named there should be brought to the attention of all Ambazonians. And we do that in the Ethics Commission through engaging all the 13 counties and all the 61 LGAs, as far as they have ethics representatives. In practically each of the 13 counties, we have representatives in the Ethics Commission who have all those guidelines sent to them. We have regular meetings in which we brief them all on how ethics commissions are to be created in every LGA and in every county in accordance with the APP, the AMBA Peace Plan, and the Presidential Executive Orders, and all the rules and regulations and the interim constitution of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, so that everybody should know their civic duty and their responsibility and their rights and will never be trampled upon. And bullies will have no place in such a society where people know their rights and their duties and what is expected of them. So and we are in full gear implementing that in all the 13 counties because some LGAs are not yet constituted, and in many of the LGAs, I'm appealing to everybody listening, all the LGA heads or the county heads. It is your responsibility to see to it that an ethics commission be created in your LGA, in your county. That way, problems can be solved in-house before they even go out and require the federal government to come in or outsiders to step in and know about your dirty lenience, which are to be washed in the house, not outside. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, televiewers, we are on to ABC Amba TV, and today is Friday, the 7th of January 2022, and we are progressing. And it's like this ethics commission, which we just started today. It's like it has been for long, and I'm just enjoying the atmosphere and the peaceful calmness we are enjoying as we are explaining and teaching our people. Ambazonians, I want to let you know that the ethics for an emerging nation is one of its kind that will be coming to you every Friday, 10 p.m. Amber time, so that you can acquaint yourself and be very versed, because when you are not knowledgeable of something, you can make a lot of mistakes, and those will be counted as crimes. But when you are informed and you do otherwise, you will know that you are really a criminal. Remember, here we have all said that nobody is perfect, and so we are learning as we are going. And when you learn, do well to put away that which you had, which was not the education you're supposed to have. Now, I'll go ahead and cross over to you before I come to you, Dr. Titanta. I'll go to Barrister Barrister Team, Barrister Team for short. Now, Barrister, I would like you to talk to us the goals of the Ethics Commission. For example, uniformity that Dr. Ndula has just mentioned, accountability and continuity, and engaging the public. I mean, I just wanted to explain these few terms: uniformity, accountability, and continuity, so that we can be conversant. We have heard the areas that he has just mentioned concerning the position of the Ethics Commission inside the government. Today, we call it interim government. And of course, when we get to Boya, this Ethics Commission will still have to continue. What do you have to explain to us when we talk of uniformity, accountability, and continuity? Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think, let me go back a little bit. Doctor said that we are not operating in space, we're not in a vacuum. And let me take off from there. And let us know that in 1961, 1960, our leaders, those who brought us into this system, were morally sound people. They were essentially all teachers. And I happen to have gone to a teacher training school. I don't know what it meant. They were not just teachers, they were missionary teachers. Foncha was a grade 2 teacher of the Catholic mission, Muna of the Presbyterian. And these people had one thing in common. All these institutions, Catholic, Presbyterian, Baptist, whatever, they have one thing in common: the Bible.
Right.
If you go into the Bible, you find this book, what they call the Ten Commandments. Every human law that we make, you can trace it to the Ten Commandments. And when you are guided by that background, you have a wonderful morale in you. But your morale only works when your opponent understands the morale. And let me fast forward. All of us sitting here are already adults. Only a very wicked adult, man or woman, will turn around and say, my mother was a very old, dirty woman. You honor your mother at least.
Yeah.
No matter how ugly she was, she delivered you. And will you imagine that, for example, at 1st January, when the president of the republic makes a New Year's speech, he never mentions that they had their independence on the 1st of January.
No, he never.
They are ashamed of the independence that they had.
Yeah.
What a morality is that?
Yeah,
It's a shame to say it.
Yeah.
When we go out to celebrate 1st October, which is our date of independence, documented everywhere. They arrest us and lock us up.
Right.
Because they have no moral. I remember I still have friends, some of them in the United States, who ran away from Cameroon because they taught the history of Cameroon. Because they just taught the documented history of Cameroon. They don't want this thing to be told. But let me go back to the issue. What is morality, continuity, and so on and so forth? Let me just fast forward. As far as the ethics is concerned, we want uniformity. We don't want the law that applies to somebody in Gokutunja to be different from the one that applies to somebody in Fako. No, the rules are the same. Everybody is applying the same rules. The 10 Commandments did not apply differently to Judas or Jeremiah. They were the same 10 Commandments. Honor your father and your mother, put somewhere in the 3rd degree, did not apply to a white man differently from a Japanese or from an African. So we are trying to put uniform rules of application, of morality. Let everybody from east to west, north to south, apply. But how do we do this? It's not enough to talk. We have to try to make it practicable. What is the ethics doing it? How are they doing it to be sure that it's done? One rule the ethics that we are right there now has done is, if you want to complain about A or B or C, put your complaint in writing. Why do you want it in writing? Because we send that complaint to the person against whom you are complaining, so that he or she will have the opportunity to respond to what you have written down. So you don't just say, no, tomorrow, no, I didn't say that. No. That's what you wrote down. By the time that this ethics leave, some of us who are dying, some of us who are stepping down, we would have had a documentation of what we did. Continuity will follow from there, because you can look at what we did yesterday and do it tomorrow and years after. We are trying to have an emerging nation on a religious basis. Can you imagine, for example, that in Cameroon, as something as basic, the Cameroon government will tell you that if you have a religious certificate, they don't recognize it? What a country is that?
Yeah.
But for continuity purposes, what is happening? Look back to the Cameroon where we are obeying their instructions. As far as I know, the religious schools, Catholics in particular, in spite of the fact that the government refuses to recognize religious and moral education as a quality for having a job, these religious institutions still organize exams. They organize their GCE in religious and moral education. They know that you're not going to look for a job with that, but it's going to be embedded in your life, how you run your family, how you run your house, how you deal with your friends. And so that is the good foundation. Continuity, we're doing it. Uniformity should apply to everybody. And so we have insisted, we have tried to say, look, those people who are in the counties in particular, if they have a county ethics commission, we have rules that should apply. The guidelines that apply in Fako should be the same one in Mizam, should be the same one in Manu, should be the same one in every county, so that we are held to the same standards. We are held to the same way of being accountable. And again, let us not forget that right now, we are trying to moralize our society. We are trying to say, look, what you did in Kambe market is as bad as if you had done it in Fako market, or in Binswa, or wherever village. All those villages have something in common, which is morale. Where there's a fight in the marketplace, what do? They may be struggling over a sitting space. They don't just end there, they go down to the palace. And each person will say, well, that was my spot. C will say, that was my spot. That's the morality. The guy who was sitting in the palace listening to that thing was not there with you sitting on that particular spot. But he will tell you, look, Mama, this one, you came and push our stool away, that was wrong. They may not even ask you to pay anything. But you return to your market spot, knowing that you did something wrong to your brother or to your sister. That is what it is all about. Again, as a nation, as we progress, we will document some of these things. Some of them are not, there are things we cannot do because if it's still our money, we don't have a court to send, we don't have a prison to put it there. But the fact that we don't have a prison today does not mean that tomorrow you go free. No. If it's properly documented, you are going to be answerable for your crimes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Barrister Tim, for that. I'm thinking that all of you who are seated here, you have been taught spiritually for this moral rectitude that we are talking about, because the way you are talking, I can feel in my spirit that you are not talking just theory that you learned, but that some of these virtues are actually embedded and found in you. All right, thank you very much. With that said, I want to cross over and to Dr. John Titanta. Dr. John, I heard your monologue. You have talked to us Ambazonians as touching the ancient days of the southern Cameroons, where morality was a talk of the day. And Barrister Tim has just re-emphasized that. And I could hear Dr. Tom naming out some of the criteria that you are putting in place for government officials. Dr. Titanta, I want to ask you, do you think that our Ambazonia, our nation, will strive if people who are put in authority don't know the constitution or are not morally upright? What do you think will happen to our nation if such people who don't know the constitution, for now we'll not blame them because we are in a teaching process, but then do you think that we will emerge with all the lies and the trickery and the blackmailing that the public has intoxicated us with when they took us as I wouldn't want to call them slaves, right, directly in the physical, but they try to make us slaves in our minds, to enslave our minds by indoctrinating us. Number one, like Barrister has just said, and you mentioned that in our constitution, the word God is found there. They mentioned God there, which I know that what Barrister Timothy is just talking about, the morality and the moral instructions that were going on in school, formed a lot of us to be sane and be talking the way we are talking. And our parents were even deceived because with their moral standing, they never could believe that somebody can come and be telling them that, oh, you see, don't mind it is looking black like this. This is white. This is white. This is white. Our parents never believed that they could be taken to that kind of garbage because they believe that everybody is a sane person. Coming back to the question, do you think that people who will mount the podium to be leaders in Ambazonia who don't know the constitution and who are not morally upright could make our land, our country to advance, especially in this revolution as we are going? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for that question. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perishes. And we know that the vision of our nation is actually reflected by our constitution. So if we're beginning our nation with people who don't respect the constitution, we are doomed to fail. Therefore, it is very important, and this is what I believe. Yes, I know that we have a vast majority of own people down there in La Republique who are acting like traitors. But this is what I believe. And this also remind me what Tibo Nagy said the other time on Chris Arnold's show. Is that most revolutions were not dictated by the majority. They were dictated by a few who had a vision. It even quoted the case of America. I believe that the few who are championing this movement, if they continue on the line of moral rectitude, if they continue on the line of honesty, if they continue on the line of integrity, if they continue on the line of true justice, of the fear of God, the Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. I think we will succeed to bring them to the full. I can also think about the European Union that we all are enjoying today. It was not founded by the majority of Europeans. Left to a majority, it would not have been. There were a few elites who had a vision to steer this continent to where it is today. So I really think that those who are at the helm of this revolution now, we must do our best to make sure that those who hold the helm of the revolution are ethical men. Then we are sure to have a good future for our young nation. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. I can feel some goose hairs running down me with the kind of explanation and language that you guys are using here. It just takes me back to believe that, some people came out as pastors, and so they call it a pastor's revolution. But to me, my definition of a pastor is that individual who knows the word of God and is able to talk practically, because it's not just theory. And in this modern day generation, I've seen so many people take the pastoral cap and put on their head with nobody making them to be pastors, and they cannot deliver the goods because it is not the hearers but the doers. When you do what you are saying, then you can solidify your position as a pastor, as a child of God. And I think that the first position we see in these moral things that we're talking about is the child of God. You are a child of God first before you can be a pastor. That's my quote. Anyway, coming back to you, Dr. Dula, I'm sure that with the screaming that is going on now and the noise that is going on now is helping a lot of people to read the Constitution. And many people are now sitting up with what is going on. But before then, I want to ask you, I know that I would have directed this to Barrister Timothy, but I want to ask you, Barrister Timothy said that this ethics commission has been working, but there are a lot of cases out there that's supposed to have been in this ethics commission and they have not been. I don't know whether they have been and the ethics commission has not been able to deliver, or what can you tell us Ambazonians that is going on as far as the ethics commission is concerned and the cases you have handled, if at all you have handled, and if at all you have been working. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Commando, for these questions. You see, one of those main things, the first point in the ethics, in the code of ethics of Ambazonia says there is personal responsibility is required of everybody, especially of us elected officials, of those who are humble, who humble themselves to lead Ambazonians, to show their face, put their face out there, and do good work for the revolution, and be loud out there on TV, on social media, to promote our cause. Well, we all know it is not. It is not just, a group of friends. Each person does what he likes doing or what he wants to do and how they want to do it. We know there will be chaos. That's why there are laws. There is the interim constitution. There are three arms of government to put checks and balances on each other. Those can work, and those are working, just like the Ethics Commission also. But the other thing is people have to bring cases to us. People have to be humble enough and be civil enough, be responsible enough to say, okay, this have been reported to the Ethics Commission, or there is a case between me and some other elected official or some institution, but I will see how I deal with it in my own way. And then they will take to social media and then have a show where they will put all things out, doing character assassination based on unfounded allegations or things they cannot verify. And there will be the police, the judge, and the executioner in one person. And that's not right. So that is the personal responsibility that some people lack. The Ethics Commission has been doing a good job up till now. I would say even before I entered the Ethics Commission, it was led at the time by our late comrade Francis Shea, of blessed memory. May his soul rest in perfect peace. He did a wonderful job with my patience Abiedo as his vice at the time, before Maduro Tingwa came in. So cases have been heard, and with proposed recommendations and solutions have been brought up. People have come to the Ethics Commission. The Vice President has humbled himself and come to the Ethics Commission. The President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, the first citizen, has humbled himself and come to the Ethics Commission. So there is no reason whatsoever that anybody can give not to come talk with us. We are not a court. We don't, as Barrister Tim put it, we don't like say you are right, you are wrong, and then that's the punishment. You get picked up by the police, get locked up. We try to mediate and bring out recommendations and hear from both sides and do our own investigations also. So anybody sitting out there and saying, oh, the Ethics Commission is biased, I don't like this person or that person in the Ethics Commission, fine. You might not like me. You might not like Barrister Tim. You might not like Madoroti, the head of the Ethics Commission. Then bring that to us. And then if there is valid reason that person will recluse his or herself from that case, it has been done many times by us in the Ethics Commission. And then that case will go on. We are appointed by the president, but we are independent and make our judgment on things and do investigations. Just like an example in the United States, the Supreme Court judges are appointed by the president. President Trump appointed many of those present judges. When it came to the case of elections and his case was brought up to the Supreme Court, he was voted down. He lost it. That being judged by the people whom he appointed. That's to tell you people it's no different in Ambazonia. We are independent, we make our decisions, and cases come up, but the people who come, some do not come up. It ends up being a one-sided issue because you might have a problem against me, bring it out on social media, insult, curse, and when I bring it up and then you don't come, but you continue on your show spewing out insults, then we still reach at some conclusion and some recommendations because your words, what you say, you're responsible for them, your thoughts, your words, your actions. Each and every one of us is responsible for that. So cases have been going on, and it is left to us individuals to submit to the jurisdiction of the institutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad. You know, we are building a nation that must abide by the rules and regulations. That is the Constitution. And I was telling people a few days ago that since even though this is a God-ordained revolution, it is not a theocracy where one person will come and dictate to us what God is saying. Now, if all of us were bona fide, born-again Christian people and children of God as it's supposed to be, we'll use the Bible as our constitution. But because not everybody is in the caliber of the kind of Christians and Christians, so we have a Bible, which is the Constitution. And so everybody in that land, whether you follow the Bible or not, you must follow the Constitution. And once you don't follow the Constitution, the law of the land will deal with you. But let me cross over to you, Barrister Timothy, so that we will have a few minutes to round up. So please be very brief in this description. Do you think that what many people have been saying and clamoring out there, oh, there was no need for a government, there was no need, people should have been in their groups and other things like that. Now, the Ethics Commission in which you are, do you have any saying with the groups and the groupings that are still doing whatever they are doing to go to Ambazonia? Do you have any saying over them, or do they have any morality that you can look into and say, okay, this is what we should have looked into, and say, no, stop this. Do you have any authority over such groups that are not under the interim government, that are not under the government that is leading us to Ambazonia?
I don't have any personal authority over them, neither do we as a group. The most important thing is belonging to a community means following the rules of the community. If you are Ambazonian, for example, we have at least a constitution. Our greatest weakness as a group is that people don't read this thing. They don't read the Constitution, and so they don't even understand it. They try to argue what they have never read in their lives. And there are also two things. Well, there's something in religion, in church, we say the truth shall set you free.
Right.
The second point is that some of us are so dishonest. They actually deliberately or ignorantly. Let me give you an example, because it's very popularly known everywhere on all social media. You see all these petitions about Momo election, Momo this and that, Momo this and that. People are complaining. I don't even know where they know about it. You hear them say the common language is that the IG did nothing. No, the matter was there, they did nothing. That's a lie. They have refused to tell you that the issue came before the ethics.
Okay.
And the ethics took a decision. You may not like it, but be honest to say that they gave a decision which I don't like. Don't say they didn't do it. The thing was handled there.
Wow.
And then the people just say, no, they did nothing about Momo. But let us be honest to ourselves. When you go to the ethics, or when you go to a court, even in Cameroon, anywhere in the world, you are not going to meet God there. God speaks through human beings. You are going to meet other human beings there.
Right.
And again, the ethics is a group. Ndora cannot just sit there and write a statement and say, I'm the ethics. Now, it must be debated in the collegial court of 7, and the majority will carry the vote. They might be saying what you don't like, but that is the majority. That's what obtains everywhere in the world. The American Supreme Court is made up of 9 members. 5 of them give a decision, like it or not, it is binding.
Right.
Let us take it to Cameroon, where we are, in Boya or Bamenda. You have what we call the Court of Appeal. It's a collegial court. There are 3 people who sit and give a judgment in the Court of Appeal in Bamenda. If somebody stole your goat, and that Court of Appeal said, look, he didn't steal, that's the end of it. You're not going to go to the man's house and catch him because he didn't like the judgment. Now, being part of the society means that accepting the decision of the majority and then telling the truth about what you do. I was having, I don't know why I'm diverting. I was having a short debate a few days ago with a reverend guy, a very highly placed church guy, and asked him the question: when the Israelites left Egypt and they were going to some place they never ever knew where it was, they call it the Promised Land.
Right.
They got so frustrated, they turned on Moses. Why did it bring us out of this place? We would have at least had food to eat in Egypt. Moses was giving excuses. He was hitting stones for water. They got out of it. I asked that priest, do you think the Israelites could have gone back to Egypt if they so wished? He didn't know. I said, no, they will not, because the Red Sea had closed back. No matter how they hated Moses, they're not going to go back to to Egypt, because the Red Sea has sealed the road.
Right.
God was not going to open the Red Sea for them to go back to Egypt. They had to go ahead.
No. Right.
Even if he didn't like Moses, and Moses died on the way, they continued for 40 years.
Wow.
Until they got to the Promised Land. Even when they got to the Promised Land after 40 years, there was no Israel until Christ was born, and he died 1,947 years before the state of Israel was created. So, telling the truth, being perseverant, taking God as your guide is what is important. Our leaders, like human beings, will falter. They are human beings.
Yeah.
The ethics might falter, but learn to tell the truth about the ethics. So I took this case there and I lost. Don't just say they didn't do nothing. No, they took it there and he lost. So these people will spill all these lies in order to gain some favors. I've talked to some of them. When the Momo issue, for example, came before the ethics, you were not even a witness. The complainants brought 7 witnesses. You were not even one of them. And now you're writing things, no, they did nothing. They wanted President Sako to go down and sit down in the ethics, go to the judiciary, go to the cabinet. What type of human being will he be? Even Christ to not do that.
Right.
So, we are guided by ethics, one of which is telling the truth, even when it is against you. Tell us the truth. Like in my place, for example, I'm sorry to give this example, where I come from. These are villagers. There's this moral thing, you don't follow your neighbor's wife. But people do it. And when you're caught, what happens to you? The only thing that this guy has as his privilege wealth is his pig or his goat. They say, okay, we're eating your goat. Because you're losing the most valuable thing that you have.
Yeah.
And then, well, what do? You go back home and tell your wife, that goat that we have been feeding for the past 6 years is gone because I did the wrong thing. I followed my neighbor's wife. Admit that. That's the morality behind it. Because until you admit your own errors, you are not going to stop committing them.
Thank you
If we be
very much.
honest, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Team. I think that this is a very exciting program, very, very exciting. And for the Ambazonians who have never understood where it came from, that this is a God-ordained revolution and struggle, you can hear from this panelist. I do not know whether they have the how do you call it? The adjective of pastors or the name pastors attached to their names. I don't think they are, but then hear the way they are talking. So when you are morally upright, there is only one logical conclusion: you know the God. Because a lot of people are striving to be moral, and as human beings, they fall short of that morality because they don't know that God that they're supposed to know the way they're supposed to know. But you can hear from here, even in the villages, when you are immoral, you pay a fine. Whether you go to church or don't go to church, like the example Barrister has given, they take your goat, your pig, which is valuable, and you are paying for the price. So what more of those of us who are now in this enlightened generation? Let us be truthful. In fact, I am shocked to hear, Barrister Timothy, that the situation of Momo came to the Ethics Commission and you people gave a verdict. And a few knuckleheads out there who are immoral, they want to destroy this government by saying that the institutions are not functional. Now, I'll cross over to you, Dr. Dr. John. Our time is running out. I think we have just about 5 minutes more. Yeah, we just have about 5 minutes. I don't know whether we'll be having time to say our last words, but let me come back to you, Dr. Titanta. Now, from all that we have been saying and from all that you are sitting down here and hearing, because a lot of people out there in Ambazonia are very, very ignorant of some of the things that you are saying here. I, for one, thought that the Ethics Commission was just a covering and that there was nothing going on in the Ethics Commission. And I've asked a number of people who have complained to me whether they have taken their cases to the Ethics Commission. And some of them have frankly told me that no, they have taken it to this area, and I tell them that the areas you are taking the problems to, you are just wasting time. The Ethics Commission is the place. I have personally told some of them there like that, and I'm so glad to hear what Barrister Tim has just said from the Ethics Commission. Now, to conclude, there is a question here that I put down, which was not in my listing. I want to ask you, Dr. John, can you now say with all certainty that the Ethics Commission is out to build morality and the rule of the law and obedience to what we have put down as Ambazonians as a guiding principle to take us down to Ambazonia? Can you say that that is what the Ethics Commission is actually out to do for the Ambazonian people? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. I have been a member of this Ethics Commission for quite very short time already.
Right.
But from what I'm hearing, what I've been subjected to for a short time, the Bible says, by their fruit you shall know them. I think what I am seeing and the people I'm made to work with, they are people who are of a high moral standing. And there is a good future. There is a good future as we all join our hands together to build a strong moral society. Barrister just, I would like to go back to the statement Barrister talked about. He quoted the scripture. He said, you shall know the truth shall set you free. That is a very strong statement, which most of us, we are enslaved by falsehood. We believe a falsehood, even though we know what we believe in is not true. Let me give you an example. When I came to Belgium in the late 90s, when SDF was reigning in Africa, I was here at the university studying for my PhD. And I decided to go and attend one SDF meeting in Brussels. For my first time, somebody invited me there. I walked into that meeting, it was chaos. I didn't know anything about SDF Belgium. It was total chaos in the house. All I could hear was Ghent had written a letter to National Brussels, and Brussels has refused to answer. It continued like that for like 40 minutes. I asked to ask a question, to speak a word. They said, "Okay, you can go ahead." I said, I know there is something wrong intrinsically in us, that we always like to argue even when we know we are wrong. And I said, and I didn't know who was wrong. I said, there are two groups that are arguing against each other. And the group that is right know they are right. The group that is wrong know they are wrong. But because of pride, they will not own up. But I'm pleading, whoever you know you are wrong, own up and say, I'm wrong, because we know you. When you are wrong, you know you are wrong. So the national body got up through the secretary and said, we are really sorry. I don't know who invited you here, but you really put a nail in our head. It is true. The national body would be very arrogant. We didn't respond to Ghent. And it was like, well, after the meeting, people came and said, but who sent you here? I said, didn't know who was right, there is something wrong with us. And this is exactly what is going on right now in our revolution. People know they are wrong, but they will continue to stick in the wrong. So when they speak the truth, they shall be set free. I am a believer. I think that the word of God for us is a very powerful tool that we can use. The Bible says that a fool uttereth all his mind, but the wise keepeth it for afterward. We must learn sometime not to be too, we must voice out our mind. We must do all of this. It is not helpful. It is not helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, it has been a very wonderful period of time with us, and we actually started about 20-something minutes late, and we have gone past 20 minutes into the time we're supposed to stop. That means that we have finished our 1 hour. We have entered 20 minutes because there is no other program that is coming up live. No. Don't worry. I've not seen anything that is coming up live. And so I am so glad that we are going to continue, but not continuing forever. I would like to give us two minutes for our concluding words, because the program is so sweet that we can just continue and continue and continue. I just pray that no program will come after you live, so that we can have this ample time to teach the Ambazonian people what they're supposed to know, because many of them don't know. So I'll start with you, Dr. Ndula. Give us your concluding words in 2 minutes, and then Barrister Tim, your concluding words in 2 minutes, and then Dr. John, 2 minutes, and then meaning that we would have taken 26 more minutes out of the normal time that we're supposed to have closed. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Ndula.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Well, fellow Ambazonians, without knowing, it is good to know the interim constitution of Ambazonia, the rules and regulations, so that you can stand up to anybody who is coming to challenge that. Those people, they know themselves. When we are in a meeting, when we were in Gokotunja, at the time when we were first formed, there was this Sako Moscow gang and the Sisiko people coming in to disrupt. And they will bring all that types of arguments and be very articulate and loud about it. Minute few. So we said, well, this is an IG forum of the interim government under President Sako. They say, yeah, that thief, this and that. We said, okay, you have a right to your opinion. Here there is democracy. And I brought the point and said, well, I mean, we vote if we will continue talking about this topic at all. The absolute majority put their hands up, we do not continue. Then those, I mean, no matter how eloquent people are, they just realize they are in the absolute minority, nothing can be done. That is democracy. And nobody kicked them out of the forum. They exited because they knew, they saw what was on there. So that is simple democracy in action. And I'm asking all Ambazonians, that is what we should be doing today. Our institutions are being challenged by the very people that we trusted. And we thank everybody for the job, the good work they've been doing for all these years. But the thing is, it is at sometimes good that our revolution has lasted this long 5 years. People have been shifted out. Those who stand the test of time, that interim constitution will be there until we reach Poya. If any two people are arguing, you see who is on the side of the constitution, then that person must be right. The other person is not right. It is as simple as that. So people should know the constitution and then value people for their work, no matter how some people might get tired and then drop off the way. They should honorably do so, and then we remember them for all the good work they've been doing, but they should not be spoiling the good job they've been doing on behalf of 8 million Ambazonians who want to go home. We have people who don't have something to eat in the refugee camps, in the folter, in the torture chambers they call La Republique prisons, and we want them to come back home as quick as possible. So let us follow the institution, respect the institutions, follow the masses. The majority is always carries the vote. That is simple democracy. No matter how right I am and how eloquent I am, how intelligent I am, the majority, when the majority says it's like this, then I will have to follow. That is part of our civic responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Barrister.
I don't know what I can say, but the only thing I can say is, ladies and gentlemen, Ambazonians, learn to read. Educate yourselves. It's free of charge. When you educate yourselves, you free yourself from these lies. Unfortunately, our revolution is the first I can recognize in the age of social media. So not everything which is on social media, you can record anything and put there. It's not gold. A lot of it is not true. If you learn the thing, read the Constitution, read Articles 16 and 17. If you got that into your head, nobody will deceive you. Again, know that the journey to freedom is not a free ride. It's not a free ride. It's going to be difficult. That's been difficult for everybody who has struggled to be free. And again, I end it up here again. We have said repeatedly, the truth shall set you free. In the 1960s, when Ahidjo was deceiving Funcha, they never knew that this thing would surface again. In 1972, I'm telling you here, I voted in the 1972 referendum, but we did not even vote. I was locked up because I asked for the black card. Once they forced the thing down our throat, they thought the thing was over. 50, 60 years after it has resurfaced. So lies can only go so far. Again, from the Bible, if you are told the Egyptians that the Israelites will go, they will not have believed. They made them their slaves. Even Moses, Jacob, they didn't even know where they were going to. That's why they died on the road. But they ended up in freedom. It's not going to be a free ride. People will lie to you. I've given the example. I have friends here who have escaped from Cameroon because they taught the history of Cameroon. Our greatest difficulty now in this struggle is that we want negotiation, but a lot of people will not come there because they're afraid that their lives will be exposed. Again, because we're all educated, look at what Cameroon says. Cameroon has never used the word unification. Now, they've always used the word reunification. But the word reunification does not feature anywhere in the UN documents. What is the idea? The idea is to say, well, we just came back to the fold, came to join them, like the Bamilikis, like the Awusas. So if you have a problem, it's the same like Bamileke. No. It is not reunification, it was unification. And they sold this into some of us who are very educated. Who, for example, say that Cardinal Tume, may so rest in peace, was not an educated man. Cardinal Tume sang the song of reunification throughout his life. I don't know whether he understood this technique that these people is against us. They just want to make us look like we were part of them before 1961. Now, The 1946 agreement on how to administer the trust territories did not contemplate reunifying. That is why North Cameroon went to Nigeria. They didn't reunify with Nigeria. It was not only with us. That's why British Togo language was part of Togo, went to Ghana. They did not reunify with Ghana. It was the same document they signed. So let us be educated. Once we're educated, we will trust our institutions. They are not yet perfect, but we will amend them as we move ahead. We will correct the errors where they live, where they exist, and then we would go to success. Don't be deceived. The restoration what do you call it? The ethics commission is not made of perfect people. No, there are just 7 people there. I'm one of them. If I happen to be your enemy and your matter is coming there, it is enough for you just to say, hello, I don't like that guy to handle my matter because he's really my enemy. There's room for that. I will simply recuse myself and the other people will do the job. So don't be afraid of an institution. It's not a man, it's not a single person. Bring your cases. Again, be prepared to say I lost. And what do I do next? You will give me an advice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Thank you for your concluding statements and your concluding words. Over to you, Dr. Titanta. Your
All
closing
right,
remarks.
thank you. Yes, I don't have much to say, but what I want to say is just to reiterate what Comrade Tondula just said, that we must learn to read our constitution. Even though it is not perfect, we must learn to master it. And where we find imperfection, we learn to suggest what kind of modification we would expect. My wife always says, if you have something to hide from a black man, put it in a book.
Yes.
Let us cause that adage to cease in Ambazonia. I've noticed that when people write comments, people don't really go through the comment. They read the first sentences and they jump to reacting. Let us read. Let us learn, develop the attitude of reading. And I would also like to say that if you are a believer, if you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, train yourself in your godliness. The Bible says bodily training profits little. But once you train yourself in godliness, it profits in all things. It is not an accident that our forefathers put the name of God in our constitution. We know that the great nations in the world, the greatest nation in the world, they have in their constitution, in God we trust. And if Ambazonia would truly trust in God, there is nothing to fear. For the Bible says, if God is for us, who can be against us? God bless you all.
Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know how to express the joy that is going on in this my little call and hearing these great words from you, great men that are in this great institution that has been given to Ambazonia to bring Ambazonia to where it ought to be. I'm so grateful, and I want to let you know here, Ambazonians, that the Bible is very clear. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. After you have done all the good that you have done, it is the end that matters, not really the beginning. So don't let your good be evil spoken of. As you have entered into Ambazonia and you are contributing and you are doing all that you can do, either in cash or in knowledge or in any way, please make sure you continue till the end. Halfway will not make it to work. And also, I want to say that the ABC Amba TV has a lot of teachable programs that you should not afford to miss. There are a lot of programs that are educative. And I would prefer that Ambazonians who actually want to go to Ambazonia and see what is happening in the diaspora, in the developed nations of the world, which we will institute in Ambazonia, you need to come back into the forum, into ABC, and begin to learn than to be hearing all the smearing noise and castigations and blackmails and so much talk that is going on outside there. I have been telling people that the interim government is not controlled or led through the social media. Anything you hear in the social media that does not come out from your interim government, and this is the interim government here talking in the name of Ethics Commission. Now, other commissions will be coming in the name of the interim government to talk. Now, a lot of people with their small minds have just sat down to think that interim government is Dr. Sako, and that's everything Sako. Go to the Ethics Commission, they will not want to go to Ethics Commission because Sako is supposed to solve it. Sako cannot solve it. Sako cannot do it. No, the interim government is not Sako. The interim government is these ethical people that are sitting here and they are talking in the area of their department. So there are so many departments that are coming up. A few hours ago, we had the Horizon, the women, in their department talking. Please don't miss these programs. Don't miss this program. Yesterday, Thursday, we had the liberation prayer by Pastor Victor at 7 o'clock. You had church and politics by Pastor Commando every Thursday, 5 p.m., to 6:30. We have church and politics. These are subjects that you're supposed to be learning so well. Other programs are coming up in ABC. Don't miss any of them. We want to thank you so much, televiewers. Thank you so much, panelists. And we are looking forward for another beautiful day come next week, Friday. And as God grants us, we shall be asking the ABC to help us, give us more days for this particular subject matter as we are getting closer to Boya, so that we can teach them very quickly. So just get ready. At any time we have that small opportunity, we'll just call all of you to jump into the panel and share, because you are not going to read it in theory. You already have it in you. And with that note, I want to say God bless and have a wonderful day till we meet next time. God bless, Ambazonia.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. These people are not here. Okay, good.
today. We the people must control the narrative. Internationalize the struggle, keep ground zero abreast and win the war. Cash App 240-486-8768. Hashtag $AMBAZONIA. Zelle, donations at ambazoniafoundation.org. PayPal, support@abcambath.com. Thank you.
Don't you hate it when that happens to you? When it does, you need this and this and this. When it happens to me, I always know where to go. When you've got professionals on your side, your problems don't stand a chance. What are you waiting for? Contact them today and let them take care of your problems.